evening, everyone. I am Cadet Egon, and I am your news anchor for tonight. Today is March 24, 2021, and let us all remember that today is the mark of one of the greatest maritime incidents in the history of maritime profession, the Exxon Valdez. So, what really happened on Exxon Valdez? The Exxon Valdez oil spill was a man-made disaster that occurred when Exxon Valdez, an oil tanker owned by the Exxon Shipping Company, spilled 11 million gallons of crude oil into Alaska's Prince William Sound on March 24, 1989. It was the worst oil spill in the U.S. history until the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010. The Exxon Valdez oil slick covered 1,300 miles of coastline and killed hundreds of thousands of seabirds, otters, seals, and whales. 30 years later, packet of crude oil remained in some location. After the spill, the Exxon Valdez returned to service under a different name, operating for more than 2 decades as an oil tanker and ore carrier. On the evening of March 23, 1989, Exxon Valdez left the Port Valdez, Alaska bound for Long Beach. With 53 million gallons of crude oil on board, at 4 minutes after midnight on March 24, the ship struck Blight Reef, a well-known navigational hazard in Alaska's Prince William Sound. The impact of the collision tore open the ship's hull, causing 11 million gallons of crude oil to spill in the water. At the time, it was the largest single oil in U.S. history. Initial attempt to contain the oil failed, and the month that followed, oil slick spread, eventually covering about 1,300 miles of coastline. Investigation later learned that Joseph Hazelwood, the captain of Exxon Valdez, had been drinking at the time and had allowed an unlicensed third mate to steer the massive ship. In March 1990, Hazelwood was acquitted of felony charges. He was convicted of a single charge, misdemeanor negligence, fine of $50,000, and ordered to perform 1,000 hours of community service. In the wake of Exxon Valdez oil spill, the U.S. Congress passed an Oil Pollution Act of 1990, which President George Bush signed into the law of the year. The Oil Pollution Act of 1990 increased penalties for companies responsible for oil spill and required that oil tanker in United States waters have double hull. Exxon Valdez was a single-hull tanker, a double hull designed by making it less likely that the collision would have spilled oil might have prevented the Exxon Valdez. That is our history for tonight. Thank you.